Oh, man.
Derrick Rose was okay on his time with the Knicks. That was about it.
Yeah,
he was just okay.
Oh, man. I think Ricky Rubio would have been a great point guard for Melo.
So do I.
He's a
really good facilitator.
I honestly think
he is.
If Phil...
He's like Rondo.
Yeah.
It was Phil, right?
But he can shoot now. You saw him in the other game.
Yeah.
He was shooting some
He
threes.
went off. He was great.
And actually, Rondo's on the same team, right? So I think I saw having Rondo kind of space the floor as a threat. I saw there was one play where he had Rondo set up in the corner and it drew people to him. But Rubio just took the shot because he was wide open. And there are some things that using other players on the floor can help make you even better. And going back to Andrew Wiggins, that, kind of correlates where sometimes if you're not in a good situation and you're not put in a good position to succeed, sometimes you'll fail.
It impacts your play. There's no question about that. What about Trailblazers Pelicans? What in the world happened in this series?
It was just honestly, the Pelicans went off.
It was a joke of a series. I expected Portland to be so much more competitive than this. I mean, I had the Pelicans winning it.
I think, I don't remember who I had.
I think you had Portland.
If I had Portland, I had Portland. But if I had New Orleans, I'm owning up to it right now. But let me ask you something. Being that this was a joke of a series, does Portland blow it up now?
They'll have a tough time doing it. There was a report that came out that Terry Stotts is on the hot seat. And to blame this on Terry Stotts,
I don't think that's fair,
is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, let me ask you something. If Portland were to blow it up, who would they part with first, Damian Lillard or C.J. McCollum?
They have to keep Lillard and McCollum. There's no question about that. You're going to see guys like Mo Harkless go,
yes,
Evan Turner go, Myers Leonard go, but the issue is they're all on really bad contracts. Like, Eric, go and look up right now on hoopshype.com how bad those contracts are. I'll give you a minute, and then you can read them. And then you will realize how unfair it is to blame this series loss on Terry Stotts. You got to blame this on Neil Olshey. That's what you got to blame it on.
I mean, McCollum and Lillard are a really nice backcourt tandem, kind of like, DeRozan and Lowry in Toronto.
You can't trade them. You just can't. I'm telling you, you got to trade guys like Leonard, Turner, and Harkless. But to take a look at the contracts that they're on is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's a joke. Eric, I know you're looking it up, so I'll go to the next series. Warriors-Spurs.
Another joke.
Yeah, although they did win Game 4, which was nice.
They did. They showed some heart, maybe playing for pop, so to say. Win one for the skipper. Win one for the skipper.
I like that.
But
Is
hey,
that like Gilligan?
Yeah, but hey, man, I mean, the Warriors are hot. I mean, I don't even think Curry's been playing this entire series, right?
No. No, Curry's been out for this whole series. And so is Kawhi.
Yeah, and it seems like,
it just shows you how deep the Warriors are.
The Warriors bench, I don't know about right now, but definitely like 2015 circa, so to say that their bench players could probably have starting jobs on some of the worst teams in the NBA.
That. Patrick McCaw could start. Jordan Bell could start. Andre Iguodala could start. There's no question about that. Eric, I know you're looking at the Trailblazers contract now. How bad is it?
Well, honestly, I'm looking at it right now. Damian Lillard, including this year, has 4 years left on a deal. C.J. McCollum, same thing. Evan Turner, he's got 3 years left, including this year.
Look at how much money, though. Forget about length. Look at how much money.
This is ridiculous.
Isn't it nuts? No, go ahead. Tell the people. Because the people right now are driving. They can't look at their phones.
Okay.
And if they are, I don't want to know it.
Well, Lillard in 2020-2021 is scheduled to make over $31 million.
Yeah, forget Lillard and McCollum. Tell me about the other guys.
Let me see. Okay.
It's really nuts.
Evan Turner at the end of 2019-2020 is scheduled to make over $18,000.
$18 million.
Oh my God, 18 million.
Damn, he'd be slaving to play ball.
That's not even minimum wage.
Mo Harkless is scheduled to make over $11 million. Myers Leonard, same thing. Oh my God, they're in cap hell.
Yeah.
They're in cap hell.
And to blame it on Stotts is ridiculous. You got to blame it on Neil Olshey.
If that's the case, it's underperformance.
Exactly.
That's just not fair.
You're listening to Beyond the Game on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. We are live twice a week, Tuesdays at 5 p.m. and Fridays at 3 p.m. I am Jacob Volk, sitting across from me, Eric Fischetti, Joe Ardita, and the true hockey maven. To hell with that other guy, can't say that enough, Eleanor Chompy. Number to call if you have something on your mind is 516 572-7440. And since we are in Eleanor's presence, we will talk about hockey. The first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs is almost over. With that in mind, I'll go through some of the series, and we'll say what we thought of them. Sound good, guys?
Let's do it, Eleanor.
And let's start with Nick's favorite series, Lightning Devils. This was so fun to see. Just to rub it in Nick's face is all.
I was telling Nick on Friday, I don't think that they were outplayed as much as outmatched.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think that the Devils played horrible. The Tampa Bay Lightning are just so much better.
Game 4, the Devils were really bad.
Yeah.
But overall in the series, I got to give credit where credit is due. Corey Schneider had a good series.
He did.
There's no question about that. You're right, Eleanor. The Lightning were just a better team.
And I told a couple weeks ago, I said that if the Devils take penalties, they're done. And what did they do? They took a lot of penalties. And you can't give Tampa Bay a power play chance because both of their units are incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. What about the only series to go 7 games? Bruins, Maple Leafs. I'm shocked.
I had Toronto in 7. I would be surprised if they would have won 3 straight. I mean, they're at 2 right now, so they were down 3-1. Now it's tied 3-3.
This series just became even better in my opinion.
I think this is the best series the whole time. I think.
Oh, of course.
It's so entertaining. Both cities are incredible. They're so hard to play in. Both of them. I honestly think that Toronto is going to win Game 7 in Boston because Austin Matthews, William Nylander, Mitch Marner, they're finally getting going. Nazem Kadri is back, and he has a difference. You could see right away. And it was very selfish, the hit and the suspension, but he's back, and he's making up for it.
He's playing motivated.
Yeah.
It hurt the Leafs.
Now,
yes, it did.
Let me ask you something. Do you have a score? I can tell you mine.
I'm going to say 4-3.
I'm going to say 4-2.
4-2.
4-2 Toronto.
And Frederik Andersen has been the Frederik Andersen that we saw all season, and he wasn't in the first couple of games. And he's really good now.
Just to be different, I'll say 3-2 Bruins. I don't think the Leafs are going to win Game 7 in Boston.
It'll be hard.
It's going to be very difficult.
Can the Maple Leafs do it? Yes, because the Maple Leafs are playing for something. They're playing to save Mike Babcock, to save Lou Lamoriello, to save Brendan Shanahan. The Bruins really aren't playing for that. They're not playing to save people's jobs. Can they blow things up if things go wrong? They may trade David Backes. That's certainly possible, but they're not going to blow things up as much as Toronto would, because I know the media in Toronto is going nuts over this series, especially if they lose.
Would you have an equivalent of the media in Toronto the same as the media in New York?
Well, nothing is like the media in New York, but the one thing I will say is Leafs Nation is the most passionate fan base in the NHL, and they have some great people covering them. Steve Simmons is a great journalist for Toronto. When that team does badly, you hear about it in Toronto.
And when Phil Kessel was on the Maple Leafs, the media destroyed his career with the Maple Leafs. And then you look when he came to Pittsburgh, he's a completely different player. It did. But you see what it does to people.
The media in Toronto for the Leafs is nuts. Not so much for the Blue Jays, though, or the Raptors. They have Drake for that.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, actually, I just saw online Meek Mill is actually being released on Friday. So
Free Meek Mill!
The city of Philly may be going crazy.
So now the Sixers are definitely going to win it all.
There'll be a Meek versus Drake again, like back to back. We'll see. That would be interesting. Having Meek on the sidelines, on the Philly side, having Drake on the other side for Toronto. That would be something.
I would like to see Meek Mill versus Drake on Drop the Mic. That'd be pretty cool.
I don't know. That'd be crazy. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, Joe, you're fine. Don't apologize. Are you kidding me? What about Capitals Blue Jackets?
I'm impressed with the Capitals.
In my opinion, the second most surprising series so far in these playoffs.
I mean, Blue Jackets choked a 2-0 lead to the biggest chokers in the league. So,
yeah, pretty much.
Honestly, that's really what it is. Capitals won 4 straight.
I didn't think they
props to them. I mean, they played really, really well. They played awesome in Columbus.
And now your yearly Washington-Pittsburgh matchup.
Yeah, I don't like that. It's nothing against the Penguins. Don't take it personally. I just don't like seeing the same matchup in the playoffs 3 years
I actually think this series might be different, though. I think the Capitals might actually pull it out.
No, but, I don't see it.
Anyway,
7 games.
With the Blue Jackets series, once the Capitals got physical with Artemi Panarin, he's not passing now to his line mates. So you're not passing, there's no goals being scored. And that was the big difference. Once they got physical with Panarin, And plus, again, you cannot take penalties against the Capitals because Alex Ovechkin is there and he scores every single time.
In the same spot?
In the same spot. No, I guess nobody...
How does no one pick up on that? Let's be honest.
It's very hard, though. Like, you're going to get in front of an Alex Ovechkin shot. I mean, there are people that will.
That's what Torts wants, though.
But I know.
Torts wants his players to block shots, but it's how they get hurt.
Right.
That's the thing. You saw it with the Rangers. A lot of players got hurt for Torts.
And Braden Holtby was awesome.
Yeah. Boy, did you call that one wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I really goaltending is so hard, though. Once a goaltender gets hot, I mean...
Oh, of course it is. All you need is a hot goalie to win in the Stanley Cup playoffs. What about your series, Eleanor? Penguins Flyers.
It was fun.
It was
I enjoyed it. It really was. The game 5, when the Penguins lost 4-2, the Penguins just played horrible. Philadelphia was playing for something. They were playing for a Game 6 back in Philly, and they got it. And the Penguins destroyed them 8-5. Jake Gensel had 4 goals. I'm wearing my Gensylvania.
Yeah,
I just noticed that. That's clever. I like it.
Actually nice. I do like that shirt.
Why can't they do that for Long Island or Brooklyn? I don't understand.
Because there are no puns for Long Island or Brooklyn.
Yeah, because everyone hates us. Anyway, go on.
This is true, too.
With the Flyers, their biggest weakness was the goaltending. They went through 3 goaltenders in the series.
Brian Elliott was horrible.
Peter Mrazek can't play against the Penguins. He's horrible against the Penguins. You don't put him in. And Michael Neuvirth, I mean, he did all he could.
Former Islander Michael Neuvirth.
Yeah. And Radko Gudas was absolutely horrible in Game 6. I blame him for a lot of the goals that the Penguins scored because he was on the ice for half of them. A lot of people were mad that the Penguins won, but...
They're mad.
Can you blame them?
They're mad because you guys are so good.
No, I know.
Think of it that way.
I know. And they were mad at... the no tripping call. I don't know if you guys watched the game.
I did.
But it wasn't a trip. Whatever. But
I will tell you exactly what I was doing at that time. I was making my way home from the MLB Food Fest after eating some toasted grasshoppers. It was actually
disgusting.
I don't even know what you just said. I don't even know where it is. There was a lot going on in that sentence.
I didn't watch the Penguin Flyers game.
Got that.
On Sunday.
Got it.
Because I was making my way home from the MLB Food Fest where I ate toasted grasshoppers. Did you get all that, or do you need me to repeat it again?
Anyway, Pittsburgh Penguins.
Sidney Crosby.
This for the morning show guy.
I didn't do that.
Where you guys eat bugs like there's no tomorrow.
I refuse.
Wait a minute. No, I saw
that wasn't me.
It wasn't.
That was Rick Everly.
Are you talking about Justin with the Scorpions?
Yeah.
That was Rick Everly, Mike Battaglia.
Oh, man.
That was not. I refuse to do that. Anyway, Pittsburgh Penguins.
I tried. I'm not going to lie.
Sidney Crosby played absolutely amazing. Chris Letang played really well. Brian Dumoulin played really well. Matt Murray didn't play great in Game 6, but the Penguins were able to score. Evgeny Malkin and Carl Hagelin, though, are hurt right now. They're currently day-to-day. So 2 big losses, especially Hagelin on the penalty kill.
But
you guys always beat the Capitals. Don't sweat it.
I'm nervous. I'm always.
Are you really?
I am. Obviously, I'm not going to be like, yeah, they're totally going to win.
Wow, that's what I'm saying.
It's going to be tough because the Penguins are not the same team as they were the past years. They don't have Washington Capitals killer Nick Bonino anymore.
Oh, that is true.
Which is a big loss. And Matt Murray is my concern, honestly, because he struggled a little bit.
He's been on and off in the playoffs.
It's very inconsistent. And Braden Hope. But I think that the Penguins are in the Capitals' head, and they're in Braden Holtby's head, and they're in Alex Ovechkin's head.
And the one thing I will say is, depending on how the Capitals lose, if they lose in 7 games, they're not going to blow everything up. But if they get swept, or if they lose in 5 games, maybe even 6, I could really see them blowing things up in Washington.
I'm saying Penguins in 7.
Wow.
I think it's going to be long series.
I really think the Capitals are a totally different team. Something about them is just different to me.
I've got Penguins in 6.
My biggest thing for the Penguins is to stay disciplined, because if they start taking penalties against the Capitals, you know what's going to happen, and then you're down 2-0, 3-0, especially in Washington. You don't want to do that.
The only thing I will say about that series is I agree with you. I really do think it's going 7 games. I can't put a winner in my head yet, because it can honestly go either way. Like, that's how similar these teams are.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Wow. It was pretty easy for me to pick the Penguins in 6. I'm not going to lie to you.
I will tell you this. I wouldn't be surprised if the Capitals won, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pittsburgh won either.
Wow. I'm surprised to hear that. No pun intended. I really am. I am just so not a Capitals fan this year. I'm really not.
I don't think the Capitals are any different than they've been.
That is true.
I don't.
You're listening to Beyond the Game on the Voice of Nassau Community